Governments have their armies, heads of states have their secret agents. But what happens when ordinary people run up against problems of international proportion? To whom can they turn? Fortunately, there are heroes who stand ready to help. Corporate Training Unlimited. They're a high firepower training group designed to help protect high-powered corporate executives. Protect them from terrorists and criminals. The bodyguards and security forces they train travel around the world, undercover, in the company of the rich and the famous. We can't show you their faces, but these students, like their instructors, are the international elite. Dave Chatelier came to the company from U.S. military intelligence.
Bang! Hack! That seats the magazine. Rack! Gets rid of any bad rounds. Go forward. Bang! Make sure it's seated.
His partner, Don Feeney, worked for the Army's super-secret Delta Force. Don Feeney was one of the Delta Force commandos that survived the plane crash and explosion during the attempt to free American hostages in Iran. Today, when they're not teaching people how to spin a car out of trouble, they're answering calls for help from Americans, mostly women and children, in trouble around the world. Women like Leila Swint. The Michigan State co-ed seemed to have it all. A beautiful baby girl, a handsome husband. But when she followed him to his North African homeland of Tunisia, a time of terror began.
He beat her. She had bruises. He'd put his shoes in the bedroom, and he thought he left them in the living room. So that was a beating for her, because she should have known he wanted his shoes in the living room, not in the bedroom. You know, it was just inhumane.
And he ends up putting her in a one-room mud hut where she's got a mattress on the floor and a table with one chair, and he was bringing her and the baby by a croissant to eat today.
The U.S. Embassy offered Laurie safe passage home, but said she would have to leave her American-born daughter behind with her Tunisian husband. His rage over his wife's defiance was now uncontrollable.
He abused her, he raped her, he impregnated her a second time. The only way the first child survived is because she continued to breastfeed her, and she was 2 years old. You know, so just a pitiful situation.
Laurie's parents arrived to plea for their daughter and granddaughter's return. Their son-in-law refused.
But I think he summed it up when we were over there, when he told my wife, "You're in my country now. You do as I say."
I said, "You're talking about my grandchild, your daughter, like she's a piece of property. She's a child. She's a human being. She's not one of your sheep out in the field." He says, "I'm telling you, you're in my land now. You abide by my rules. Leila's here, and she will stay until I say she goes."
Days later, the Swints would meet with the American commandos. They were outraged to hear of the son-in-law's cruelty.
That guy is an absolute slime from a slug's tail. He's lower than life.
But the Swints informed the commandos they wouldn't have time to coordinate a huge rescue attempt. Back in Tunisia, their son-in-law was applying to the Islamic courts for full custody of his daughter.
Keep in mind that in a lot of these countries, a woman is worth a lot less than a goat. And a female child is worth less than the woman. So we're not talking about a person a female or a child that has any rights whatsoever. They have no rights. The husband has all the rights, the male does. And he had already told the mother that as soon as he got court's approval and full control, he had a cousin that lived in Libya, and he was going to send the child to Libya to be raised as an Arab, raised as a good, true Muslim, I think is the way he put it. Well, there's not even an American embassy in Libya. You know, the child would have been gone forever.
Time was running out. Corporate Training Unlimited now had less than 7 days to plan and execute the rescue. Unlike the failed attempt to free American hostages in Iran, this time, no one would save them if something went wrong. And something did. When we return, we'll watch as that desperate mission unfolds. If the commandos of Corporate Training Unlimited hoped to penetrate Tunisia and save little Leila and her mother, they had to act now. The grandparents have provided the commandos with more than $30,000 cash for a mission that is expected to cost 3 times that. The money buys the services of a smuggler and a boat, halfway between Sicily and Tunisia, on the small island of Pantelleria. This will be their escape route. Now it's on to Tunis, where in one day the courts are to award custody of Leila to her father. Dave and Don know that if their plot is discovered, no one will come to their aid.
Before you go in, you say, man, if I get caught, I'm going to be in this jail for 20 years. And that's the time to worry about the family and home. When the time comes to actually make an assault or a hit, you have to have your mind totally clean of everything around you. You can't be worried about home. You got to concentrate, focus on the mission only.
The plan is simple, swift, and dangerous. The commandos whisk Laurie and Leila into their car in broad daylight. As they head for the coast, one simple mistake endangers the mission and their lives.
I drove right through a red light. I mean, it was redder than the sun.
The commandos do stop, but it is too late. A Tunisian police officer is approaching the car. Don hastens to meet him to prevent him from seeing the frightened woman and her child hiding in the back seat.
I'm sorry, I'm from New York, and they had lights in the middle of the street. I forgot you had the lights on the side of the street here, and he took my passport and he started, oh, you're American? Yeah.
If the Tunisian official discovers their deception, it's over for all of them. Their only hope is to convince the officer that they are simply bumbling tourists. The officer provides the opening by asking, in broken English, if the American knows Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson?
Hey, I know the kid well, man. Taught him how to dance, you know?
I said, yeah, you want to see me dance? And he started laughing, and it kind of broke the ice a little bit. He says,
okay?
Small problem, go ahead.
Hey,
so he gave him my passport, we jumped back in the car and went.
They were on their way towards the smuggler's boat now, toward freedom and family, anxiously awaiting a reunion across the Mediterranean. The reunion took place at the Rome airport, where the Swints and Julie Feeney, the commandos staying with the Swints, were waiting for Laurie and Leila to arrive.
When Laurie and Leila showed up at the airport, we turned around and there they were. And it was emotional, but yet we had to stay somewhat reserved because we did not want to draw a lot of attention to ourselves. There's an American child home in the United States bearing the fruits of her freedom that she was born with, her God-given rights. She's free, and the mother is free, and they're a family. That's what it's all about.
The commandos of Corporate Training Unlimited have successfully completed more than a dozen missions around the world, with requests to take on hundreds more. Leila Swint and her daughter are in hiding now, fearing the ex-husband's return to the United States from Tunisia. Let's hope that he doesn't require any more corporate training. In truth, there is no place left on earth for evil men to hide among the good. We can jet from one side of the world to the other in a matter of hours. We can transmit voices and images in a matter of seconds. And we can photograph every inch of the globe from space. And so, that the good may sleep easily, the weak gain heart, and the wicked know that there is no place left to hide.
Schwamberger's apprehension is one of the most significant events in terms of international law in the last 15 years.
Man, even at his age, cannot escape justice. And I have a feeling justice will be done.
Curtis! No, you won't, because there's cops right around the corner. Curtis, now! Curtis!
Put the gun away now.
I'm not putting it away unless he gets...
Put the gun away.
There's an American child home in the United States bearing the fruits of her freedom that she was born with, her God-given rights. She's free, and the mother is free, and they're a family. That's what it's all about.